Welcome back to Spot Goes to Hollywood. So now we're doing the Haunted House. Ooh.
It's a bit too early for Halloween, though.
20 spots available. Recover 40% for exit. So basically, collect 8 of them.
Again, it's the same. Again, like I said, despite being in isometric perspective, it still follows the same basic formula of the first game.
Ooh.
Tommy, this is supposed to be a haunted place, not someone's funeral. So,
well, that's the thing.
We are here today
well,
to pay our respects to the deceased Cool Spot. Yes, I know we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
It kind of works as a eulogy for Cool Spot as a mascot, I guess.
My guess too is that he's going for the creepy factor, in the sense that cemeteries are creepy or something like that. I don't know.
I get what Tia means, though. This does sound a bit more like funeral music than horror music.
I
guess.
What is this music?
Yeah.
Like I said, Shiro, Tommy felt like we could use some cemetery music. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the composition though.
Oh yeah, it reminds me a bit of some of the obviously darker themes of some of the King's Quest games.
Secret Passage.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Secret passage. Secret
But where,
passage.
Well, remember, it's secret, so we have to find us. But it's kind of like the Warrior Land ones, where we have to bumble around. There we go. See, that's how you get this particular spot over here.
Oh yeah, Warrior Land. It reminds me of that rumor I heard.
What?
Oh, rumor that we're getting a new Wario Land game.
Those have been those have been around for a long time, Jova. So,
Well, here's the kicker. The rumor is that it's being done with the help of Way Forward in lieu of Cadence of Hyrule.
I don't know. Oh, a doll.
And the real kicker is that some people speculate that we'll be getting a crossover between Mario and Shantae, which I'll admit would be fitting, but it's still
I
rumor.
can't really picture that one, to be honest.
Really? That's actually the one a lot of people can picture because of how similar the styles of Wario and Shantae can be.
I guess.
That and tell me you wouldn't kill to see a team up of Risky Boots and Captain Syrup.
There you go. Oh god, skeleton. There you go.
Well, I'm picturing a Doom WAD with Cool Spot instead. I guess it's possible.
There we go.
Oh, it was a secret passage in the fireplace.
Yep. Let's see what else is in here.
Dracula's painting, I see.
In multiple
patches. They moved. The paintings moved. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
It was connected to the flower pot.
There must be some.
Good luck trying to fit through. Oh, there you go.
It's basically in case you want to come back in here. There you go. Again, just like with the first one, it's all about exploration. It's just that the difference is that it's in an isometric perspective instead of a side-scrolling one. There we go, 40%. There you go.
Also, that Genesis twang.
Yeah.
Gotta love that Genesis twang.
Ooh, spiders. Did this come out before or after Resident Evil?
This came out in 1995.
Before.
This came out in 1995. It was one of the final Mega Drive games of sorts.
Keep in mind, though, Jova, that Resident Evil in itself is like a spiritual successor of an NES title, you know? Or was it Super Nintendo? I forgot. That Capcom tried to do based on a licensed product.
Funny how that works out.
There you go. Oh.
It's like it's not enough, I guess.
It is, I just have to squeeze through. Hold on.
You have the isometric perspective.
That's the problem. Well, again, that's exactly the problem too with the isometric perspective. But see, back in the mid-90s, Shiroi, developers were trying to do the isometric perspective thing because they thought, oh, look at cool, it's 3D, but in a Mega Drive or Super Nintendo. See, the problem is isometric perspective brings a lot of problems because there's
you have to do it all over again in case you forgot something.
Well, to be fair, it's not like it's hard to get all of the stuff that's there on first try.
Okay. But yeah, games like this or Last Crusade, Crusader.
Light Crusader.
Light Crusader actually have this problem basically where you're not really sure where you're supposed to go, like land or something.
It's the same problem. Again, it's the primary example people know is of course Sonic 3D Blast, because that was the one, of course, it was very hard to do platforming in that game because you never had were entirely sure if you were in line with the platforms both vertically and horizontally. So it was really, really hard to do platforming in that game. There we go. All right, that's done. Why?
Why? Like, I understand if... oh, there you go. I can understand if, for example, a password is sort of cryptic, like it gives you a cryptic hint or anything, but...
Oh, that's spooky actually... seller.
Ooh!
Oh, no.
There you go. How about this song? What do you think of this one?
It's the same.
It's the same
Oh,
one.
no, actually, no, it's not.
Oh, it's a bit different.
This sounds instead very Donkey Kong Country-ish. Specifically the second game.
Yep. Spider. Okay, so basically in the spooky cellar, we have to find keys so you can open the doors and get to the end. And as you can see, each lock has a different color. We have a darker yellow, lighter yellow, gray, green, and we have these also ones that I don't quite understand. So basically, in order, you need to find the doors of the doors. You need to find the keys of specific colors. So let's look for them. There you go, the green key.
Oh, green key.
And some gems.
All right.
Basically, notice how whenever I step on this square, those doors open. So basically, obviously, I'm gonna have to try and find something to stand on that thing, so I can get rid of those. It's a typical Zelda-like puzzle. Zombie.
A wine that releases green liquid, one barrel.
And it hurts you. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be. I'm guessing
acid?
Green. So green wine is bad for you. Or maybe I don't know. Like doesn't, from my experience, it doesn't seem like it, but whatever. Well, well, it depends on the person, of course. But
it reminds me of well, it's like a thing for censorship purposes. Basically, a gajillion games had to censor alcohol in them and say, no, it's grape juice or instead is milk.
You see, don't worry, kids. It's not alcohol; it's acid, and that's better somehow.
But then you have a game like Shadows of Eden by Suda51, of course, where instead it kind of takes the piece out of it and says, and basically alcohol is your healing items. Why? Because in the underworld, instead of giving you liver cancer and everything, alcohol actually heals your wounds. Shut up. So
I'm okay with this.
I'm kind of imagining Suda wanted to, with that Suda wanted to kind of take a piece out of the. Oh, there you go. Out of the censorship.
All right. So
Jesus, this room is red.
There, look at that, Jova. The architect made this red room just for you. Also,
with the fireplace and everything.
Yeah. Look at that. All red, just the way you like it.
Doesn't really confound. It doesn't really is confusing with cool spots appearance. But yeah, this is just one room.
There you go. All right, and we also got the gray key. So, but first, let's take care of this zombie.
Ooh, a zombie.
There you go, C2. It was actually Spot Goes to Hollywood that started the zombie trend in video games. So Spot Goes to Hollywood ruined the zombie genre.
Clearly. Alright, let's see if this key works. There you go.
Let's see what's behind door number 3. There you go.
More items, but...
I'll remember, the idea is that we're supposed to try to find...
Yeah, we still need to find 2 more keys, well.
There you go, let's see...
That's not even like using the stairs; it just jumps them.
Don't jump into the water because Spot can swim.
Aww.
No shock there.
Danger. Is that a dope fish cameo, sort of? Context. Commander Keen, a game made by ID Software around this time, actually featured a character called the Dope Fish. For some reason, video game developers kind of loved putting that character in backgrounds in their games as a sort of an Easter egg here and there. I don't know why exactly. I guess as a tribute to ID Software because they have been very important to the game industry, I guess.
This game was made by Eurocom and developed by Virgin, who have absolutely no ties to ID Software, so I have my doubts that that's what it is.
I'm gonna check in the meantime.
Go ahead. Alright, so we have the yellow key, but we still have to find the dark yellow key, so we can then get the brass key. So you think this is still a game?
Technically, yeah, it is. Although, in universe, it shouldn't, because you're on a movie set, supposedly.
True. You think this is still a movie? Well, there are movies with fetch quests, to be fair.
Ow.
There are
Horror movies have fetch quests, actually.
Yes. In order to open the store, you will need to prove your worth. You need to find the free gems of power and whatever. I'm actually wondering, like, how they would probably do it if they made a movie out of Ocarina of Time, because Ocarina of Time is basically one fetch quest after another fetch quest.
Maybe a Netflix series.
That's the thing. Most of the temples, most of the dungeon temples and everything, don't provide too much in terms of the story, unless there are some specific alterations, like with the water dungeon and Ruto, obviously. But so I'm guessing, hypothetically, for future adaptation, they probably most of them get skimmed with a montage or something.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Basically, too, it boils down to the fact that, from my understanding, Tommy's using a similar concept to the way the classic Sonic games handled music. Well, at least, well, in the sense that each act has technically different tracks, but they still follow the same basic theme, which is why this track, despite being different, still sounds similar, like you yourself said earlier.
There's also the thing that the Genesis sound chip was relatively limited, so composers, in order to use it, could use similar sound fonts, but just apply them in a different manner. And Tommy, in the documentary, basically stated that that's exactly what he did in order to plasma the music to the tune that he preferred, in order to make it as extremely similar as possible to the original article, when he didn't have on occasion doing so, like in the Sega CD games.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I don't know if Jova has any input on it, but in a recent podcast interview, everybody check out Tommy Tellerico on YouTube, and you should be able to find a podcast of him being interviewed. It's not hard to find it. He said that apparently back in these days, very little space on the cartridge was actually used for the sound files. It was Tommy who went, okay, what if we had like an entire megabyte dedicated to the music? You know, because, and apparently no developers were doing that kind of stuff at the time. Because remember,
it was easier to saving space and everything.
Because remember, this was even before Final Fantasy IV came out. So, because Final Fantasy IV only came out in 1991, and Tommy was already composing for Mega Drive games in 1989. So. So basically, Tommy decided to basically manage to convince the Virgin executives that it was worth saving an entire megabyte of cartridge space for the music, and that's why the Mega Drive games composed by him and Virgin, because I have such higher quality music than most 16-bit games, because Tommy was the one who originally decided to pioneer and try to push more for higher quality music. There you go. How, like, if I remember correctly, Joe, aren't you taking classes that involve video game music, audio design, or something like that, or something along those lines? Because I forgot the exact number that Tommy says, but apparently there was only, like, I think it was like about only 50 kilobytes or something that was saved for the music back in the late 80s in the cartridge. And according to Tommy, that just doesn't give much space for the composer to really
experiment and everything
and create high quality tracks like these ones. So do you have any input on that, since you're apparently learning that kind of stuff?
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So oh, there you go.
What is this, quicksand?
Quicksand. There you go.
Oh,
Of course, no demonic castle is complete without that.
Oh, don't worry, Jova. Like, you want demonic? Wait till the next part. It's in the next part that we'll have. We're literally going down to hell.
Oh, jeez.
Great.
Oh, it's not quicksand. It says the gravoids from Tremors.
Yeah, remember, Teo. This entire game is basically a copyright-free Hollywood romp. Although later on they are going to include the aliens from Alien, I mean.
Xenomorphs.
So the Xenomorphs from Alien, yeah, sorry. So it's so I guess they managed to get the rights for that one at least.
Sega was having the rights, exclusive rights to
I was
Alien.
about to say, did they have them at the time?
No, actually, remember, Teo, this was Virgin who published it. Sega had nothing to do with this.
Well, but it was like a Sega Genesis exclusive, wasn't it?
True, but not for the choice of Sega. You know, the Sega was Sega obviously licensed it like they always license every game that gets published. So, but they didn't help with the publishing or anything. Virgin single-handedly published their own games back in the day. Like remember, Virgin even launched games on the Super Nintendo. Remember, the original Cool Spot actually came out on the Super Nintendo. So this one in particular did come out only on the Mega Drive, but that's because the Mega Drive version was the one that was the highest seller. So my guess is Virgin decided to let's just make a sequel exclusively on the Mega Drive. Although they did make a PS1 Sega Saturn version of this made by a different developer, and it wasn't. It's not very good. I'll just say that.
Okay. I'm guessing also the Saturn was a bit harder to work on.
Not so much that, Theo. Like the Sega Saturn and PS1 versions do stick to the isometric perspective thing. It's just there you go, 100%.
Whoa.
There you go. See, that's how good I am.
So once you get to the raft, do you control it still using the D-pad?
Yes. Basically, just stand still and use the D-pad to control where the raft goes. It's that simple.
The Pumpkin Castle.
Yes, we're literally going through all of the horror, the more typical horror movie sets. Now the Pumpkin Castle. There you go. Look at that. Yes, I saw Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. Yeah. There you go. And of course, we have armors that attack us with the axe. And they're indestructible.
Yes, that's in Scooby-Doo.
The only thing is missing really is just the portrait with the eyes moving. Oh.
Well, technically, that particular trope dates back to horror serials from the 1940s and stuff like that.
Yeah, but let's be quite honest, Scooby-Doo popularized that stuff.
True. It also didn't help that aside from the 30s and 40s, the Universal classic monster movies were not as popular in later decades. So Scooby-Doo was the breath of fresh air on that front, taking what Universal had done in the early years of the cinema and basically making a rom-com a sitcom out of it, basically.
You know what's really ironic is that Universal are the ones who actually coined the idea of, the cinematic universes.
And
True,
right now are probably the worst people who are handling that concept. Congratulations.
Oh, God, yeah.
But Java, the Dark Universe is totally gonna work. We swear.
We swear, yeah.
Yeah, so much so that the Bride of Frankenstein movie got put on hold after how badly The Mummy did.
Oh, jeez.
Fuck. Well, if I can try again. No, it's more. Well, that's the thing. Like when it fails, at this point, there hasn't been any second movies in that universe. So at this point,
Exactly my point. It's like, well, they were going to have Bride of Frankenstein coming up next.
And don't forget that technically speaking, Dracula Untold that originally was supposed to be the first one, but they immediately retconned it.
Gee, I wonder why. Could it be because that movie sucked?
I actually haven't seen it yet, but from what I heard, it's more unmemorable than anything. So, I don't know. But the only thing that I heard is that it actually, of all things, takes inspiration from the Castlevania Lords of Shadow games. So, I'm actually curious to see what it's about.
This. It's no Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now, that was a good Dracula film.
True.
Oh, you're not a fan, Tio?
No, that's what I mean. Like, if Universal doesn't manage to get one of its major monster movies right, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing not getting The Mummy because maybe they've been conditioned by the Brendan Fraser movies, and you think, oh, it needs to be more action, more like that instead of being about the mystery and the mummy being creepy and everything. But come on, with Dracula, it's very hard to fuck up.
He's literally the Prince of Darkness who sucks blood and wants brides. If you can screw that
even
up,
if you want to do the historical origins by having Vlad Tepes, third of Wallachia, impaling people on spikes because he was pissed off about what direction the Crusades were taking, it's not that hard to do.
Honestly, Teo, knowing Hollywood today, they probably will have some kind of origin story, quote unquote, where they have him redempt and actually become a good guy, kind of like Maleficent did.
I have no qualms with them trying to do that with Dracula, seeing as how there have been plenty of incarnations of the character that have actually redeemed himself, I mean, okay, if you want to make the monsters like, the heroes, that's fine and all. It's just, make a good movie.
Yeah.
And get the lore at least right.
As long as the script is good, I guess you can do whatever you want.
I guess, sure.
The problem is that they can't seem to get a good script. Like, it's to the point where Hotel Transylvania is a better monster movie than anything they've given out in recent years.
What about Monster Family, Java?
Monster Family was actually not Hollywood funded. It came from the deepest crevices of Europe.
It took me a few seconds to figure out what you were actually talking about. Thanks.
Your brain was processing the information.
Yeah,
she blocked it, repressed the memory.
Roy. Both Britain and Germany are responsible for that abomination.
I am sorry, okay?
At least it was in Mondo TV, I guess.
What are Mondo TV up to anyway, I wonder nowadays?
I don't know right now. I'll check in another time.
Mistakes.
Same.
Amen to that.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing my country doesn't really export entertainment out because we don't even have animation over here. Like we had like one show where we did live action plus animation, but that's it. Like Portugal doesn't really have animation studios or anything of the sort. So so sorry, guys, we will never be able to commentate on a bad Portuguese Disney knockoff.
What a shame.
That's okay, Shiroi. That's what Brazil's Video Brinquedo is for.
Oh, jeez.
The closest thing, but yeah. Are they still a thing?
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
well, remember, Jova, they operate on the same mode as Compile Hard because they make their movies with such an incredibly cheap budget, like with really, really, really cheap animation. So the videos are incredibly...
profitable even with zero effort with them.
All they have to do is release them on especially now that digital distribution is so popular, they don't even have to make them into DVDs. They could just spare the money it takes to release on DVD and just release it straight to digital.
Well, certain companies have shown us if you go too far, you will get Disney on your rear ends. And you tangled up anyone. Let's not forget that movie was so much a ripoff it actually got Disney pissed off enough to go after the entire company, pretty much put them in bankruptcy, and decreed that they destroy every single copy of that.
Probably
movie.
one of the few cases where a cease and desist from a larger company was actually welcomed by people.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. Oh, hey,
Geez.
Jumping Pumpkin. But that's the thing, Jova. The interesting thing about Tangled Up is that it was originally not even called Tangled Up. It was a German-made.
Yeah.
It was a German-made Rapunzel movie. But since Tangled came out, they decided to call it Tangled Up to go full mockbusters on us. And Disney.
Remember, any similarities were just a coincidence.
Oh.
And that's the thing, Shiroi. According to the article, Shiroi, Disney didn't actually sue because of the similarities necessarily of the story. It was more so because of the fact that they were using the word tangle in it, because people were getting it mixed up with Tangled, and Disney didn't want their movie to be mixed up with that kind of shit. So basically, that's why they
trademark the movie title or something.
Well,
Let me put it this way.
remember,
I'm
Shiroi.
not even sure how that works.
Actually, it does, Shiroi. Remember, there's a reason why at the end of the words tangled, you might see little letters saying TM, aka trademark. You know, every time a company makes something, anything, they trademark the IP and even the name. Nobody can sell something with the word Sonic on it without Sega's approval, because the name Sonic is trademarked by Sega. Go ahead, Jova.
Yeah, here's the thing, sure. Tangled Up is one of those special cases. Like, normally whenever you see these mockbusters, Disney for some reason ignored. Tangled Up, though, was a case where they took a movie that wasn't even originally named that and renamed it just to get people to fall for that, which means they actively changed the name of the title, which made them liable to getting sued.
Well, yeah, it makes sense for Disney to step in at that point.
That's one spicy pumpkin.
Yes, basically, now you know why this is called Pumpkin Castle, because the headmaster of it is a Halloween pumpkin. So that spits acid, I think, at us.
I guess.
No.
Or it's fire.
That's how it is, Shiroi. Like trademark. That's how trademark works. You're not allowed to use the name of a specific copyrighted work.
And Disney is extremely adamant about this.
For commercial purposes. Honestly, too, in this particular case, for the
in
greater
this case,
good.
yes. But when there's the other side of the spectrum, like where they purposefully not bent over, but demanded to extend copyright law just because they wanted to held so dearly on the trademark of the name of Mickey Mouse. I don't know if they actually have it fully again now, or it actually was part of that batch that became public domain at the beginning of 2019.
True.
I know that Tarzan became public domain again, so I guess if Disney wants to give it another go ahead, I guess.
What are you talking about, too? Clearly, we still need a sequel to the wonderful Constantine Films Tarzan movie.
I still need to see it.
Oh,
The Tarzan 2014, you mean?
yes.
That's going to make for a great generation.
Yeah, like you said, they want to be in the generations for that. I'm curious on that.
And there you go.
Anyway.
We finished the horror movie collection. Now let's...
Also, there's a coffee stain. Animator, please do your job.
Alright, next we have The Temple. So tune in for that. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.